People always ask, isn't it too much? But I'm like, it'll never be enough.
So hi and welcome to BTS Stars, a special series that takes a behind the scenes look at films and actors and all the people who go to make them look as great as they do. So we have Meagan Concessio today, who's a celebrity stylist, and she's going to tell us all the secrets that go behind making the actors look as great as they do. So Meagan, first let's start with your childhood.
Yeah.
So were you always into styling? Like, was that something that always interested you?
Not always. I think I loved clothes growing up. So I liked shopping and I liked, going to the mall, seeing new things. And so I loved that aspect of it. I never thought I would become a stylist growing up. I decided that maybe at like 17, 18 years old.
And who are your inspirations back then? Like the people whose style you really loved?
Honestly, I love my mom's style. My mom, she's like in the corporate world, so she would always wear like really nice suits. She was always dressed up, always had a ton of makeup. She was like someone who I always looked up to, and I always wanted as many clothes as she had and all. So that was nice. My first style inspiration, no one will believe me, but I loved Avril Lavigne.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, both of us shared a birthday, so I was very like, oh my god, like I love her. And I grew up like a tomboy, so I loved, wearing all those studded things and those big baggy pants and stuff, which I don't really do that much in my work anymore, but she was one of my first like style inspirations in that punk time.
And we also know you worked with Rhea Kapoor.
Yeah.
And of course, Sonam is the fashionista that we all know about.
Yeah.
So please share your experience there.
So I firstly love them both so much because they've taught me everything. Like I went to styling school, but I don't think I even learned half of what I know today. I think I learned that while like on the job, working around both of them, and they were really experimental in their style. So there was never like, you never repeated something. It was always, what new can we do? Who is the new designer we can discover? So it was always something new and fresh that I've been like, that's ingrained now in my system. So I know that if I ever do something that's similar to the last thing I've done, I think, oh my god, Ria's gonna shout at me, So, so it was really good working with them because they gave me a lot of exposure. They took me to Cannes, they took me to New York. I worked on Viredi wedding, so I went to New York to shop for the film with Rhea. So I mean, they really got me to explore a lot. So I'm really grateful that I could be in their team.
And Sonam is definitely someone who's changed the fashion scene for Bollywood.
Definitely, yeah.
So, if you'd like to tell us a little about that, like what goes behind the scenes on all those great looks.
It's a lot of like 3 a.m. work days, and it's a lot of hard work also that goes behind that whole glamorous thing that only people on the outside get to, see. So it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of calling for an enormous amount of things, trying on different things, not liking a lot of stuff, and then coming like to the final look that comes out for everyone to see. So it's very difficult to work in a styling team like that because you have to be committed like to your job 100%. But it's also really fun. Like I said, you get to travel, you get to like see these beautiful designers who make really stunning clothes. So you're also in the presence of beautiful stuff like couture and like amazing fashion. So it's all kinds of things. Like there's not just one way to describe it.
Yeah. And you've also been creating these amazing looks for the younger stars, right? From Sutaria to Janhvi Kapoor to Ananya Panday.
Yeah.
So how do you feel their style is different from each other?
So I think everyone has their own kind of personality. So you kind of like, you look at that and then you decide what you should make them wear. So everyone's like very different in their own way. Tara is more classic. She, you know, leans towards more classic color palette, more classic silhouettes. With Janhvi, she's more colorful, she's more vibrant in her dressing sense. Ananya, like, is really experimental. I do like really fun prints with her, that kind of stuff. So everyone has their own aesthetic, even though they're all in that same age bracket. My approach to styling each of them is so different.
And like you said, you know, each one has their own preferences.
Yeah.
But as the expert in the room, how do you get them to experiment and try out something maybe they didn't, you know, really know would work for them?
I think it's like, with Tara, say for example, like she always leans towards like a white, nude, black, like those kind of colors. But during promotions this time, I, you know, took something neon green to her, and she loved it. You know, the whole process begins when the person is willing to try something that's beyond their comfort zone, and then if you can get them to do that, and they can, you know, look at themselves and be like, oh, I wouldn't look at that and think that's my style, but now that I've tried it on, I like it on myself. I think that's when you kind of break barriers with styling, and that's how you get them to like realize what they can they're capable of sort of pulling off.
Yeah. And sometimes, no matter how much you prepare, there are some fashion emergencies.
Yeah.
So how do you handle something like that on set?
It always comes up. Believe me, every second or third time you're styling, you'll always be faced with a problem, but you have to kind of be action-packed with all your, like your styling kit and all these things that you bring as backup. Like I always make sure if I have an event, I have a backup outfit for that event. You know, you don't know sometimes like, you know, someone may drop coffee on what they're wearing, and you have to figure it out, and you have like this much time to figure it out. So it is hard. Sometimes your innerwear can go wrong, and you know, you need the right inners to like avoid a wardrobe malfunction. So there's that. Like I have my whole suitcase which I carry to every shoot, which just has like inners and like different things that I use to sort out situations like this.
That's so true, you know, because we see the final look, but we don't really know what goes behind the scenes. So for anybody who's not, you know, aware of that, like the kind of work that goes behind the scenes, if you'd just like to run us through a day in your life.
So I think when there's an event, I think the day will begin with us sort of getting all the right jewelry for the outfit. You'll have already done trials by then, so you know what they're wearing. At a trial, you'll have a tailor who'll assist you, who'll alter the garment perfectly to the person's size. And then sort of I come up with hair and makeup references and things like that. So everything is sort of, there's a process for everything, and it has to be done in a certain way. Otherwise things can get very chaotic because you're in charge of very expensive things as well. So you have to be really organized. Like the whole team is on it. Sometimes you know, 2 things are happening in the same day. Like right now for Karan Johar's party, I was styling 4 people that day, which was a first for me. Like it was absolutely chaotic. So one assistant's doing like jewelry for one person, one is running around getting all the alterations from the tailor, you know, we're doing a second fitting with one person, where it's just all, it's madness. But I mean, there's a method to my madness, so it sort of works.
So basically it's not as easy as it looks.
No, it's definitely not. And I think a lot of people join styling, like young people, and then they realize what it entails, and then they quit really early. And I think if you can handle the first 1 year into this field, you can really survive it. But that first year of like not breaking is very, very important. I think a lot of people don't manage to do that.
We'll give you a few names, people you have worked with, and if you could describe their style in just a word or two.
Okay.
So of course Tara first.
Beautiful, like
Janhvi Kapoor.
Vibrant.
Rashmika Mandana.
Bubbly.
Ananya Panday.
Exciting, like just
Nora Fatehi.
Out of this world, like that, just over the top, maybe over the top.
And so also we have to ask you your most memorable work that you'd like to talk about.
So I don't have like one specific outfit. I think my favorite set of outfits was during Tadap promotions. I think that turned out really nicely. With Tara, we did like very, very different kind of looks every day. We tried to make sure we don't repeat a silhouette, or we don't repeat a same aesthetic or hairstyle. So we kind of really kept it different throughout. One was one of my favorites because I remember like when I tried this with her, we were doing our second fitting and we were almost done with all our promotional looks, and I said, listen, there's this one thing, I just got it came a little late, do you want to try it? So she said, okay, fine, like we have looks, should we try? I said, yeah, just try it. And it ended up looking so good. And normally this is like very oversized, it's very like not what we're used to doing. We're used to doing more fitted silhouettes, more, structured things. And this was like a really over the top, really like power suit, sort of like it looked like a men's suit almost. And she pulled it off so well, and I was so happy because she herself told me that, if you showed me this 2 or 3 years ago, I maybe wouldn't have liked it, but I'm so happy that I can experiment this much with my style now. And I feel like that's when you feel like you're really enjoying working with someone, because you feel like you can help them reach a point that they didn't know they could with their style, and also they can pull that off so well that it's a good place to be then.
True.
And then I had done this shoot with Ananya, which was a test shoot actually, and we planned it in not even 2 days, and she just looked so good in that shoot. Like I was so happy with it. It was like so last minute and so random that we put it together, but it turned out amazing. She looks amazing in anything really, but like to experiment with her, normally I feel like she's dressed more bubbly and cute, and for her to have this other side of her personality that we could sort of portray through the shoot was really nice to see, because she just looked incredible and was all put together in like 2 days.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even have an assistant on the shoot. I just I saw some new collection come out from a really good Indian designer, and I was like, oh my god, I have to be the first to use that collection. So I just went mad and I was like, let's plan this shoot. So I think the most fun work is when it's kind of like unplanned and experimental. I've done a lot of test shoots with Janhvi as well, where it's more, just us doing our own thing, no creative person involved, no brand, no client agency, nothing. It's just like a few of us putting together some work that we find interesting. Even this was like less than 2 days. Actually, my friend and my co-worker sort of, Vaishnav, he has the House of Pixels. So he and I always have this thing where he'll just call me and he'll say, what clothes do you have? Can we do a shoot tomorrow? Or can we do a shoot day after? And I'm like, great, you're not giving me anxiety at all. And we'll sort of do that, and that's amazing because he kind of pushes me to just come up with something really fast. So he was like, listen, I really think you should work with Janhvi. I think you'll do a really good job with her styling. So let's shoot day after. It was beautiful. Like she looked so good in the images in like this Indian wear, and it was a great shoot. Again, like no one telling us what to do, just us experimenting and trying things out. So that was really fun. Sonam's, I think the pregnancy shoot I had assisted on as well. So I had gone to Delhi for it, and it was super chilled. Like we were just trying to get good images of her. It was not too hectic, like just 2-3 looks that whatever she was comfortable in, and that was great to be part of that. I was in Rhea's team from 2015 to like about 2019. I was still doing a few assisting projects whenever they needed me, and it was so great to just see her pregnant and be part of that. The whole team had met after really long because she was in London, so that was a very emotional shoot. Like all of us just looking at the pictures and we were like, oh my god, it's emotional. And then Nora, I just did IFA with Nora. This is from IFA. Amazing. This is Michael Cinco that we used. So yeah, with Nora it's always like super glam, and like the Dance Divane as well is like very over the top, like glamorous vibe. So that's fun. Always nice to do red carpet because you always want to like use the best, like couture, and use the best pieces out there. So that's.
And also finally, any BTS advice, behind the scenes advice for people who are looking to get into the profession?
You have to just be obsessed with it, I guess, for a while, because if you're not obsessed with it, it's going to be very easy to sort of not love it. Because there are many like points where it's very, very hard to be a stylist and you're just like, oh, I want to give up. But you have to sort of love it more than you hate it, so you stick by it.
So we had a lot of fun with Meagan, and of course wishing you best for all your future projects.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.